So here is the casual understanding that I want you to have when we think about functions. And I'm going to come back to this definition a few times as we go through this chapter exploring what we mean when we say function. I want you to think of a function as being a machine. And into the machine, we're going to put a bunch of values. And out of the machine are going to come a bunch of values. Now, all of those values that we feed into the machine are what we call the domain of the function. And they are also known as the x values, just like the x and y ordered pairs you've been studying on the Cartesian plane. All of the values that are going to come out of the function are what we call the range, also known as our y values, also known as that second coordinate of an ordered pair we were talking about when we look at the Cartesian plane. So again, everything we feed into the function is coming in here on the red. That's what we call the domain. Everything that comes out of the function is what's going to be over here in the blue, and that's what we call the range. So here's what's going to happen. Let's put a few things into our function. Let's put an a in our function in the domain. Let's put a triangle into the domain. Let's put the square root of 2 into the domain of the function. So these are the things we're feeding into the machine. When we feed an a into the machine, our function is going to do something to it. We're jokingly going to say our function is going to f that a, and into the range is going to come out an f of a. So we put an a into the function as a domain. It comes out of the function is f and a. When we put a triangle into the function, our function is going to do something to it. Again, we're going to say our function is going to f the triangle, and then out of the function is going to come an f of triangle. Similarly, if we put a square root of 2 in, we're going to feed a square root of 2 into the function, and the function is going to do something to the square root of 2. We're going to talk about what later. And then out of the function, we're going to have f of the square root of 2. So all of these values over here in red, the domain, are all the numbers, they're all the values, all the things we're feeding into the machine. All the things that come out of the machine, everything here in blue, are what we call the range, and those are the y values. So what does this have to do with ordered pairs? Because down here we're saying, okay, all of these values for x's are the domains, all these values for y are the range. So if you look above, let me start a new sheet over here. What this does is this gives us another way to think about ordered pairs. So again, knowing that we had an a for input, that means one of the ordered pairs that's going to be on this graph, whatever it is, and again, we're going to talk about that a little later, is a. That represents the x value of the order pair. Coming out of the order pair was f of a, which represents the y value. So this is giving us one ordered pair that's going to be on our graph. Now remember the other things that we looked at before as well. We looked at triangle. So if we input a triangle into our function, which represents the x value, and output, or the y value of that's going to be f of triangle. Similarly, if we input a square root of 2 into our function, so let's put a square root of 2 into our function, the output of that is going to be f of the square root of 2. So what this is doing is this is helping us organize each one of these input values, or the domain. Again, keep in mind all these input values are the domain. And all the output values are the range. So this is helping us think about this in terms of ordered pairs. And again, another way for us to think about this is x and f of x.